Hi there, this is Dazalirian. I'm back with part 2 of my walkthrough of Crown of the Sunken King, the new DLC for Dark Souls 2. Today we'll be starting at the Tower of Prayer, bonfire, and we'll be going to the Hidden Sanctum Chamber bonfire, which is in Dragon's Sanctum. So after you get a good rest, hop on up, make sure you have the Silver Cat ring or some other kind of fall control equipped. Drop down the ledge there. Don't go out the way that all the switch puzzles are. Pick up the dried root if you haven't. Take this guy out. I checked out those pots. There's nothing exciting in any of them. Walk down the stairs and do a U-turn. Try to stay pretty close to the stairs so you don't aggro any of the enemies that are farther up the path in either direction. Right here you have an enemy to the right as you enter the door, and another that will come in from the left door. Head out the left door, turn right, and instead of going right, head straight. The door you see in front of you leads to an elevator shaft that you'll open up later on. There's a shiny in there you can pick up, but you'll be able to get it later on as well, so I just didn't bother. Here you'll get a little friendly help from the dragon. He takes out both of the enemies guarding the bridge before flying off to who knows where. But before you cross the bridge, smash these pots and run around the corner to find the sorcery Focus Souls. So head across the bridge. I'm just going to make sure these guys are dead. The doors open mysteriously, and you're admitted to Dragon's Sanctum. In the first room on the left, you'll find a locked door. We'll be getting the key later on in the Dragon's Sanctum. This leads to the third Sholva bonfire, actually, which leads to an optional boss fight. So we'll be coming back to that. In the next room, you have a door to your left and a door to your right, but before taking either of them, whack the switch on the left wall. It'll open up a panel right next door, and you can pick up your shiny. Don't go through this door right now. There's a broken staircase, and if you fall off, it's too high for you to jump back up, and you won't be able to get back up for a while. Instead, go right. This is the first time you're encountering these enemies. They're Sanctum Knights, and in their ghost form, which you see right now, they are very difficult to kill. They're only vulnerable to elemental attacks. However, if you smash their bodies, you'll make them into flesh and blood again, and they're much easier to fight. They take much more damage, and you can inflict regular physical damage, which would just go right through the phantoms. When I say bodies, by the way, I mean the corpses on the slabs that are giving off the red mist. If you have to come back to Dragon's Sanctum after dying, you can usually just sneak right past the Sanctum Knights, or you can also creep up and backstab them. They're pretty easy to sneak up on. So open your little trove of chests here. None of them are mimics or trapped, so you can relax. This one is a sentimental favorite. So now go to the far end of that room and look at the door to your left. You'll see one enemy standing in front of you with a poison cloud. So I would aggro him, but be careful because there's another enemy who's going to come around the wall to the left. And so if you run into the room, he'll be able to ambush you. So I'd either run in, trigger them, and run back out, or attack the far guy with a ranged attack, and that will bring both of them out to you. There are another two enemies in this room, but they're sitting down and they tend not to aggro until you get much closer to them. This is a dart trap. The rounder raised stone is the switch that sets it off. It's pretty much right in front of the door, so keep an eye out for that. They can really hurt, and the switch doesn't stay depressed, so you can set it off over and over again. Now through the openings in the wall here, you can see there's a Sanctum Priestess, I believe they're called, and she fires some dark spells at you. She's pretty easy to take out with a ranged attack. You can just dodge behind the wall as she's firing. There's also another one of the Poison Cloud guys. I missed a chest up there in that room with the four enemies. It holds a bonfire ascetic, and it has a poison trap on it. So you'll want to open it, roll back really quickly, and then once the poison dissipates, head on up and get your ascetic. There's a shiny in one of these nooks. There it is. Human effigy, always nice to have. Now this is your first wheel door. If you step on that switch in front of you, you'll rotate the wheel 90 degrees. But when you notice that there's an enemy standing on the upper level, which there is fairly often, you'll want to keep the wheel door in a horizontal position like this, because you can hit his legs rather easily with magic or arrows or anything like that, and he can't get at you. So this gets a little tedious. Step on the switch and rotate the wheel 90 degrees, and then rotate it another 90 degrees. And I think every wheel door in this DLC, you need to rotate all 3 times to open it up. So now with the big wheels at the bottom, you can go through, and you'll be in a long, narrow hallway complex. There's nothing waiting to sneak up behind you. If you have any luck, you'll run across a message warning you that there's a hole straight ahead of you. If you don't have a message, just remember it's right after the intersection. You'll end up, both of those doors are also shortcuts from later in the area, so you'll end up here again. Jump the hole. If you don't manage to jump the hole, don't worry. It'll just take you to a room that we get to a little later on in the walkthrough. And you can come back here. So shoot the switch to your left after you've jumped the hole. It'll open a door right next to it. Before you go through the door, walk all the way to the end of the hall and look as far up as you can look, and you should see a second switch that you can shoot with your arrows, and this will open a door through this door. In this case, there is a guy waiting to ambush you from behind, so go in and look to your left. There's another poison fog guy. This stairway is trapped. If you step on a switch, you can see it right there. Spikes will shoot out from the walls on both sides, and they can catch you a really nasty blow. If you time it right, you can aggro the enemy, and as he's on the stairs, step on the switch, and it'll take him out in one hit usually. Here I don't manage to do it. That's the switch. It's also round and raised. And that's what the spikes look like. Yeah, I tried to catch him in the trap, but he ran up a little too fast. So grab your 2 shinies. You'll end up in a room with 2 treasure chests, and if you hit that switch in the hallway, a 3rd iron chest. It's kind of cool to see someone else opening the chest at the exact same time. This is the puzzling stone sword. It's kind of a cute, straight sword. Oh, I got invaded here, so I'm just going to skip ahead. It's a straight sword. It glitters kind of purple and green, and the power attacks with both one-handing it and two-handing it act like a whip rather than like a straight sword. So it can be pretty effective in catching people off guard. Drop down the hole now and go to the left. There's another invasion right there. The first thing you want to do when you get into this room is take out the sorceress who's firing dark at you from an elevated walkway across from the door. Don't go too far in because there's another one of those phantom knights who will jump out at you if you walk too close. Those spikes do a little bit of damage to you, but not too much. There he is, hiding behind that wall. And remember, he's in his phantom form, so he won't take any damage from pure physical attacks. So if you have an infused weapon, or the Moonlight Greatsword, or anything like that, or any sorceries, hexes, the whole deal. Notice that even Crystal Soul Spear is not doing him a whole lot of harm. And almost everything else does less than that, so these can get really nasty. You also can't backstab them while they're in physical form. Phantom form. Eventually you'll be able to find the corpses of every single phantom in this area, and destroy them and turn them all into corporeal knights, who you can use physical attacks on and everything. But you can't do that right now. So those are 3 torches. If you can manage to take the little health hit by walking across the spikes, go ahead and grab them, but they're not that important. There's a switch. We'll get back to that in a second. Because on to the next arch, there's another phantom to deal with. Be cautious because all of their combos potentially have 4 swings, and sometimes they'll stop earlier. So don't get caught off guard. If you've only seen them do 1 or 2 swings, don't assume that if you see the same combo again, you're only going to see 1 or 2 swings. Especially watch out for the attack where they jump a distance back because they're about to charge at you and do a 2-handed Falcon attack. And that really does some damage. Go back and hit the switch and it'll open the door we were just looking at. Before we go grab that though, let's take care of these spikes. So head towards the wheel door, get out your bow, and if you look up and towards the area where the walkway enters a room on the 2nd floor, you should see a switch you can shoot that will retract all the spikes. So now you're free to move around. You can grab the shinies, you can go in the door. By the way, I wouldn't recommend doing that before killing both phantoms, because otherwise they can both aggro, and fighting 2 of them at once is really, really difficult. In the chest you'll find the Dragon Stone, which is an essential item. There's one last switch to take care of. Walk a little ways down the stairs, turn around and look up at the way you came. To the left of the stairwell, you should see a wall with another switch, and this opens up the door to the bonfire room. You could just see it up there, above her head and a little to the left. So head back into the sand room, climb up the ladder near the dragon stone chest. There's your bonfire room. So just make the jump, and you're all set. Take a well-earned rest, and I'll see you back here at the Hidden Sanctum Chamber for the next leg of our journey, down to the layer of the imperfect. Take care.